the cases where they could tap Don without getting a warrant. Listening to this, Don, what, as a citizen of Barbados, hearing the Honorable Wilfred Abrams saying this in Parliament, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this is what I had mentioned pretty much earlier.
I know, that's why I
That this
came
was
back
the
to you.
most that this was the most insulting part. That we have a minister, a government saying, "Okay, yeah, the police have been doing this for years. Sure, it's sad, but we're not going to do anything about it, and we're going to justify it by legalizing it so that in theory, most of the time, we'll have to have the chief justice or another judge authorize the wiretap." While we've been talking about in theory and in practice, most of the time they won't even need a warrant to start the wiretap because of quote unquote national security. National security could have anything to do with guns, drugs, all the way to political opponents. So for them, just justifying the bill like this, I think is disappointing from Wilfred Abrams. And just the whole bill on a whole is disappointing. Well, not the whole bill on a whole, because they will be able to hopefully catch certain criminals with this. The biggest drug dealers, the biggest people pushing guns in the country, they're protected by these same politicians. So we're not even going after them. So the smaller fish that they claim that they're going to be able to catch by doing this, I really don't know. I really question it.
Yeah, yeah. Janine, the last question on this 5-2B here. Listening to Wilfred Abrams saying that no, this time around, you can't just do it. You have to get a warrant. But we've just shown you in the bill where you don't need to get there instances where you don't need to get a warrant. What are your thoughts on that? Listening to this, Janine.
Just to make it sound sweet as the government always do. I mean, okay, so say that this where it's happening had to work for criminals, right? I mean, we can go on. We are young people on here, and we can go onto our Instagram right now, and we can show you criminals. They're person who actually posts what they do on a day-to-day basis. So for me, if you want to do where it's happening to work, you can tap into these specific person's phone, but that doesn't happen. We see in the news every year particular individuals who we know for sure be considered persons who are breaking the law consistently, and we consistently see them getting off. So if you really wanted to, if you're saying that you were doing it before and it occurred and stuff like that, why weren't these individuals being tapped into and could have been off the streets a long time from killing
Mm,
people and stuff like that? So for me, I would have agreed with it if it was something that was working to really catch criminals. But for me, this is not going to do that. It's going to be targeted at the lower man. Everything in this country is normally targeted at the law-abiding citizen, on the man who considers to be a bit more poorer and stuff like that. And for me, this is control once again. If this was a government who was protecting its people, of course, would give them a pat on the back and let's do this, let's fight crime together. More certainly, because we all don't want to be living in fear. But this will go down to the smaller man, and that is my problem with this bill. But well, the parts of the bill.
parts of this. But Daniel Boyce, in countries where wiretapping is legal, have crime rates actually gone down? Did you get any chance to look at that? Anybody? Let me start with Daniel. Have crime rates actually gone down
I
in those
read, I
countries
read,
where, yeah,
I read something earlier. I know we were looking at some documentation. I think was it did it impact it by about 5%?
yes,
I
about
believe.
5%.
I think yeah, it's about 5%, but we didn't. I don't think it accounted for the percentile of persons that were oppressed, or how the technology was misused, right? Um, and like the rest of the panel has touched on, come on, we know who the criminals are. Like, let's not pretend. We know where they are. We know who they are. We know what they do. We know who they're in bed with. Come on, you don't need to wiretap to get them. You just need to be just, and you guys need to, stop coming in front of the people of Barbados and lying to us and pretending as though you're doing this to benefit us as a nation. When you're just going to use it to remain in power, and not, to do business as you see fit. It's not really for the protection of the people.
Mm-hmm. Um, uh, t- um, Terry, do you think criminals will simply switch to other hard to trace communication methods? seeing that it's saying it's only worked at probably 5%, but it's the research says that the wiretapping doesn't really help that much. So do you think criminals will switch to other hard to trace communication methods? Theory.
Marcy, can you hear me clearly? Everyone, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I think mount my words very carefully. The thing about it, right, is that it's already happening, Marcy. I'm not going to tell you which platforms because obviously the ones who don't know,
Okay, so let's speak
it's already
clearly.
happening.
Let's speak clearly. You don't mention the platforms, but speak clearly. You're saying that what? Speak clearly.
That WhatsApp is compromised. And most persons who do anything, legal or illegal, knows it is compromised. And they're using other platforms. That's as clear as I could put it.
You're saying WhatsApp is compromised and people are using other platforms. Very interesting. Brandon, do you think that criminals are going to find other communication methods?
Of course, but then as some of the other panelists were saying, like which criminals exactly? Like I think we're gonna just find ourselves in a position where every now and again they're gonna get a successful, execution of something based on the bill, and then the real people that should actually be behind bars are just gonna continue going under the radar because they're not actually going to attack anyone meaningful. So where does that leave us?
Mm, mm. So, Zico, you think that people are already using other methods of communication?
I can speak from first-hand knowledge that I know for a fact that people been using certain apps like Telegram and certain apps like that to do, criminal activity as well. This is no surprise or shock that people phones were being tapped. This is not surprise. I'm not against the bill. Let me make this very clear. I'm not against the bill. Anything to tackle organized crime, I am for. But when it comes down to vague writings and certain stuff like that will impact the average law-abiding citizen. And I know for sure that could be used also to target for political agendas and stuff along those kind of lines. When you use words like national security just means basically national issues, so that's just my issue. But really and truly, I know for a fact, first-hand knowledge, I know for a fact that criminals been using different apps to spread messaging and different codings and stuff to spread messaging already. So it's no surprise to me at all. It's no surprise.
So you don't think it's gonna work? You want to weigh in on this, Don?
It's not gonna work.
Don,
5% is his best case scenario. Let me say 5% was his best case scenario.
So once again, it's a like tint. Go ahead, Don. You think this is like tint?
Yeah, it is throwing a plaster onto a problem that a plaster really can't fix. It's an easy way to steer the narrative away from the actual crime problem itself. The government does many things but address the actual root causes of crime. So yeah, similar to tint, which is going to have zero to no effect on crime. I really don't see how powerful this wiretapping is going to be to stop the crime. Because realistically, the most successful criminals in Barbados are paying the politicians, are paying the police. Wiretaps will never be applied to them. So the quality and caliber of criminal that you're looking to catch with these wiretaps, I don't know. I really just think it's going to come down to political opponents at the end of the day. I think that's going to be the most useful case of the wiretap.
This is why I love to talk to young people now. Listen, you all cut to the chase. Cut to the chase. Brandon, I see you going like this. Brandon is like, I'm just over this. Brandon, why your hand? He's an actor. Now. Brandon, what going on in your mind?
No, Don is just airing my sentiments exactly. Like it's just us a lot of misplacement of attention. Like they're just gonna give you little bits and pieces to make you feel like, oh, we're actually doing something when we're not. And in actuality, the real things that need to be addressed are gonna continue to be swept under the rug consistently. And then when it comes down to the political game, as Don would have said, quite eloquently, they're just going to use it for their own agendas, and that's all this is going to be.
Anybody else agree with them that this is like a whole tin thing again? It's not going to do the job, because you are already telling us that they're already using other methods of communication. So this is not applying to them. Anybody else want to jump in on this? No? Daniel?
I mean, there's not much to be said. I can tell you personally, when I speak to certain officials, they don't call me regularly. They call me over apps. So it's not surprising, you know? So it's
You're saying you speak to certain officials, they call you over an app?
yeah, they don't call me like a regular phone call. They call you like via WhatsApp or like Telegram or something. You know what I mean?
So
But they
there's
ain't
a lot
calling
of,
you.
hold a minute. Help me out here, guys. There's a lot of Telegram use in Barbados now, because
Oh
before that
yeah,
wasn't being used.
No, Telegram is a big one.
Telegram
Telegram
is
is
a
a big
big
one.
thing.
It's definitely growing. I hear more and more people on it.
But Telegram's been big for about down here for about 3-4 years. You know when it got really big? When they were doing the blessing circles.
The
The
blessing
That's when
circles?
the blessings.
that's when it got big.
The
Yeah, when you
blessing
see someone
circles. So
download
it got
Telegram,
big in the blessing circles. No,
yeah.
because I know of Telegram. Why I say that, Don? But it wasn't something like you would have to be telling people about Telegram, that it exists. But you're saying that it is growing now, and you're probably going to find a lot more people going over there than with WhatsApp.
In theory, they're supposed to be even more so encrypted and secure than WhatsApp. I mean, none of us ever read the terms and conditions or whatnot or really understand, but in theory, my understanding is that Telegram is even more so secure than WhatsApp.
Even more. So they're going there. But Don, you had raised a point a bit earlier, where we are talking about encrypted WhatsApp messages, and you were saying you don't believe that they would be able to. I hope I'm understanding what you're saying or paraphrasing it well. That the government will be able to read our WhatsApp messages. Why are you saying that? Is that what you were saying? And if so, why are you saying that?
I mean, it's just my opinion at the end of the day, but I do not believe that this bill, the scope of this bill, would include WhatsApp messaging. In regular wiretapping in America, it's just what you see on the movies. It's landlines. It's now evolved into cell phones, but via the mobile carrier. So in our instance, it would be Flow and Digicel. If this is a law in Barbados, Flow and Digicel are both Bajan companies. They're gonna have to comply with this law. But WhatsApp has nothing to do with Barbados. WhatsApp is online, owned by Mark Zuckerberg, owned by a company in America. So I would find it hard to believe that a company in America finds Mia Motley's pitch to them so compelling that they decide to allow the because at the end of the day, they more so care about shareholders and press. Suppose any of us on this call were to go to a journalist in America and say, hey, WhatsApp, which is supposed to be encrypted, it's supposed to be impossible for anybody to trace your conversations. The Barbados government is tracing it. So I don't think WhatsApp would risk everything they've built, Instagram, Facebook, all of their companies' platforms, for some bad press over Barbados. I don't think so. I think that they created an encrypted network to keep it encrypted. So I don't think that anything is going to break that.
But it does happen though. It does happen though in the States when it comes to WhatsApp and Instagram and certain apps along those lines. In the same state of national security. So what happens is that government agency basically sends in a request to basically either pull up either the IP address of a particular network or whatever the case is, then for you to get the information. So it can happen. Trust me, it can happen because it does happen.
Yeah, it could. It could.
But let me ask Theirry, because Theirry is a computer. I don't know if anybody. Oh, and I think Daniel did computer science as well. But can there be workarounds where it has nothing to do? Because I agree with Don that this U.S. company more than likely would not be complying with the government officials in Barbados, and yeah. But could there be workarounds where they're using stuff like device hacking like Pegasus, where they can access cloud backups and etc. Could that work? Could that be a way where how they could read your messages and listen to your voice notes, etc. Theory. Let me hear the computer guys on this. Let me hear Theory and then Daniel.
Yes, it is very possible. There's something called open source intelligence. What is open source intelligence? Open source intelligence is basically saying I can look at my guy Zico. He has the Chelsea shirt there. I know my probably is 100 or 100, probably 1,000 up to 1,000 of those jackets. I start to search for those jackets, look for the supplier, etc., and they could trace back there till they find his key information and solve it there. So that's one measure. They also have the Pegasus platform you mentioned. There's a platform other stuff that I don't really want to discuss here, but it's not too difficult if you know what you're doing. And I can say so, given my expertise pertaining to that of basic. I don't consider myself an advanced person in cybersecurity, but I know certain things. I will even put it this way. I remember the time it was a conference. These guys figured out how to find one of the most dangerous Iranian drug dealers in the world, and they use open source intelligence. And trust me, if our police or military, whoever else is going on, they're being trained. They should know how to use open source intelligence, know how to use certain phishing techniques and other stuff. So it's not too difficult to hack WhatsApp. As I said, WhatsApp is not secure, and that's as much as you can say.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hear from Daniel.
Yeah, so
Daniel, did you study computer science too? I think I remember
studied
that.
computer science and software
Yes.
engineering.
Okay. Just speak up a little bit more for me.
So I think, to be honest, penetrating software like WhatsApp is going to be quite difficult for us as a country. What the easy approach, to be honest, would be for them to install software on your device that can record your keystrokes, right? So in recording your keystrokes, what I can do is, when you log into your account, you go on your phone, you log into Facebook, you log into Instagram, whatever. I can record those keystrokes, and as you type in something, I can get your passwords, your banking information, that kind of stuff, right? So I can sniff all that information. I can actually do that myself. It's actually not that hard to do. You just need to be able to get the software on that person's phone. You could do that quite easily. Persons are doing it now by using like public phone chargers. They put little chips into the chargers. So when you plug your phone into a public charger, it installs that keystroke software, accesses it remotely. I can get all your passwords, banking details, all that stuff. So as opposed to trying to penetrate apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, which would be quite difficult, I will in turn try to hack you as the user by trying to, infiltrate, get your passwords, and so on and so forth. So if I get your passwords, I can install your WhatsApp account on my device, or I can log into your Instagram on my device and use that as a way to circumvent the securities that the encrypted applications like WhatsApp and Telegram. We'd be able to circumvent them like that by using keystroke sniffers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But interesting, very interesting. I want to, as we've discussed WhatsApp. We discussed whether or not it's going to wiretap solve any crime. We've looked at the warrantless tapping in the bill. I want us to just quickly spend a couple minutes looking at the Caribbean, the cases of the politicization of wiretaps. Okay, let's do we see that happening in the Caribbean where wiretapping was used for political purposes? Any cases anybody wants to quickly speak of before we go into our closing segment? Any cases of any where wiretapping was used politically in the Caribbean? No?
I've got a few on my phone, but to be honest, my daughter's got my phone right now, so I don't.
I saw her. We'll soon end. End. But look at, I mean, you know, we look at places like Jamaica.
I think we saw some in Trinidad as well. I
Yeah, in
think in
Trinidad in
was it
2010 there
2000?
was a
Yes.
scandal which
Yeah.
targeted political opponents, journalists, and judges in Trinidad.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So I think we can, there's a possibility that, we kind of hinted at it, here tonight. That I got you, Josie. Thank you. Give me a second. Sorry, that's my brother. But yeah, we saw other administrations using this technology for political gain, right?
even in Barbados, where it was used already in Barbados, a political gain.
So based on the framework that we have there with the vague language, let's say they view their opposition, and another party as their campaigning goes against the interests of national security, or maybe their campaigning tactics will affect the economic well-being of the state.